Back in 2019, I was in a very toxic relationship that had been going on for about 2 years. It was the kind of relationship where we would fight and argue, and she ended up cheating on me, but then I brought her back and we would kind of just like get together, fight, argue, fornicate a ton, go and get drunk, and then break up and then get back together, and the cycle would just repeat. It probably repeated like 8 different times, right? So bad relationship. And I actually lost my virginity to this girl. And so it made it that much harder for me to just like cut it off. And so I kind of looked like a clown for about 2 years. And I tell you all of this because all of my friends, my brother, basically anybody that knew me was not supportive of this relationship because they knew that it was not a good relationship and that I probably should have cut it off like a year before I finally ended up cutting it off. But I just kept, putting the Band-Aid on and tearing it off and putting the Band-Aid on and tearing it off because I had a sexual attachment to this girl. And so this one night in particular, towards the end of this relationship, we decided to go out to the bar. And because my twin brother and all of my friends didn't really like this girl that much, I ended up telling her,
hey, I'm gonna go out to the bar, but I would rather you not come. How about you just do something else tonight?
Which, is a great thing for a loving boyfriend to tell his girlfriend, right? That tells you how bad the relationship was. But anyway, I tell her not to come. And then she decides,
you know what? I'm not going to come. I'm just going to go and watch a movie with my friend. I didn't want to go anyway.
Right? I'm like, perfect. This is great. Everything worked out, right? So I decided to go out to the bars. She's going to go watch a movie with her friend. Perfect. So I end up going to this bar with all of my buddies. It's going to be a great time. And so we're standing in the line waiting to get into the bar. And as I'm looking, like you can kind of see into the bar. There's like a big line of people in front of me, but I can see inside of the bar, I can see the bar and I can see people kind of just like walking around in front of me. And as I'm standing in the line looking into the bar, I see the girl who my girlfriend was supposed to be going to a movie with walk across in front of the bar. And I think to myself, well,
that's interesting. Shouldn't she be at the movie theater with my girlfriend? Like, what is she doing here?
But I kind of just like brush it off. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe they didn't go to the movies together. Who knows? I guess I'll figure out. And so I wait. I finally get into the bar with my buddies. And I look to my left as I get into the bar. And not only do I see my girlfriend's friend, I also see my girlfriend, of course, with her. And you wouldn't believe that they're surrounded by about 10 dudes that I've never met before. And this is going to tell you how bad the relationship was, in case you haven't already figured that out. I just look at it and I'm like,
I don't even care.
I just like go in to the right with my buddies and we start drinking and start playing pool and stuff. I'm not even going to give it the time of day. That's how far gone this relationship was. As we continue to have fun and, pound alcohol like a group of degenerate college guys, she ends up walking over to us and she's all upset, as she should be, because I'm not even paying attention to her at all. And she's like, why won't you, come hang out with us? Like, what's wrong with you? Why are you telling me to go to the movie theater instead of hanging out with you guys? Like, this is making me really upset. And at this point, I'm like, I really don't want to deal with this. And she's like getting upset and asking my brother why he doesn't like her and kind of just causing a scene. And I remember just looking at her and saying,
hey, like, I told you not to come. This whole scene that you're causing shouldn't be happening because you shouldn't be here.
Really great boyfriend, really supportive and loving. But that's what I told her. I'm just being honest with you. And so she ends up getting even more upset and she kind of just like runs off. And we go back to being degenerates, right? Playing more and more pool, drinking more and more beer. And I kind of just pretend that she's not there. And probably about an hour later, my buddy ends up looking at me and he's like, hey man, do you want a drink? You want more beer? Of course I do, dude. Absolutely. Let me go with you to the bar. We'll get some more beer. And so he's waiting to get the beer from the bartender. And I'm kind of just like standing there behind him. And a girl ends up walking up to me that I ended up recognizing from one of my statistics classes. And so she starts a conversation with me. She's asking like random questions about the class. Like, oh my gosh, like what did you get on the last test? And just like all this random BS. Like obviously I can tell that she's flirting with me indirectly, like most women do. But I'm kind of just like entertaining the conversation and standing there waiting for my beer. And all of a sudden I feel a tap on my left shoulder. And as I go to turn, I see my girlfriend. And she ends up just slapping me in the face in front of all these random people inside of this bar and the girl that was talking to me. Obviously, like, I'm completely caught off guard. I was not expecting this at all. And I look over at all my buddies because they like watched the entire thing happen. People are like getting rowdy inside of the bar, like yelling and screaming because it was not expected. Like, most people don't get slapped inside of a bar like that loud, you know? And I'm looking at all my buddies and they're like laughing and joking and also pretending to slap one another like they're reenacting the scene. I just like run up to them and I'm like, dude, that girl's crazy. Like, what is she doing? And they're all laughing and she ends up running back over to me and she's like trying to, you know, get control over the situation again. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know why I did that. Like, I love you so much. I'm like,
get out of here. You're not even supposed to be.
And so while I'm like trying to get her to leave, my twin brother is actually recreating the slap, like pretending to slap one of his buddies. And my girlfriend sees this and she looks at him and she slaps him in the face as well in front of all these people, dude. And at this point, like, everyone in the bar is just screaming and yelling like, get her out of here, what is she doing? And she ends up kind of just like freaking out and running out of there. And my brother's like, what did I do? Like, I didn't even do anything. Like, why is she slapping me in the face? I honestly don't even think I like followed after her. I was like, what is wrong with that girl? She's crazy. But of course, like, given the context that I already told you, after she ended up leaving and we kind of just like went back to screwing around in the bar and I pretended like nothing happened. Not even a day later, I was talking to her again and trying to get her to come over because I was so sexually attached to her. That's how down bad I was. But sadly, that's how most toxic relationships are. Very abusive, very manipulative, especially when sex is involved and you're not married to that person, and alcohol and all the degeneracy in college. That is the average relationship for a lot of guys who are lost. If you're enjoying this video so far and you want to join our brotherhood of men on faith-based self-improvement looking to reach their highest potential in Christ, do yourself a favor, scroll down, click on that subscribe button right now so that you can see more videos on your homepage just like this one. Now, you may be wondering, Braden, why are you telling us this story in the first place? I just don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made in college, where I felt that probably because a lot of like pressure from my buddies to keep up with them and compete with them, like sex-wise, like,
oh man, if I'm not sleeping with as many people as Johnny over here, then I'm not as much of a man.
Like, a lot of people fall into that trap. And they think that if they sleep with more girls or if they become like more of a degenerate, that somehow people are going to like them or respect them more. And it couldn't be further from the truth, man. Like, not only does nobody give a crap, like nobody actually cares, but you actually end up putting yourself in a way, way, way worse position, like especially spiritually, by doing all this stupid degenerate stuff. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been in church trying to like pray or worship or, you know, even just mid-conversation or trying to read my Bible. And because of all the stupid things that I did in my past sexually, I'm getting all these like demonic thoughts, and Satan will just bring up these images of these girls that I slept with and just try and like basically make me lose my train of thought or lose my focus on Jesus, which is why I'm at the church. That's why I'm there. But it's super demonic. And there's a consequence for our sin. There's a consequence for our mistakes. And a lot of people act like you can just do whatever you want. Now that you have Jesus, like everything that you did in the past doesn't matter anymore. And that is not true. You're going to pay a heavy price for degeneracy, especially like a bunch of sexual immorality in your past, whether that's a crippling addiction to pornography or sleeping with a bunch of girls like I did in college. It's really not worth it. And especially if you're a virgin watching this video right now and you haven't had sex before and you feel all this pressure, like your buddies are sleeping around, or maybe you just see it on TV or you see it in movies and you're like,
man, that looks so fun. I wish I could do that. I'm such a loser. Why can't I get a girl? Like, God, what are you doing? Do you even see me?
all of that, it's like, bro, you're going to be fine. If it's in God's will for you to get married one day, he's going to bring that woman to you. You have nothing to worry about. And the other side of the coin, like what I experienced, is not worth it either. The grass is not greener on the other side. Trust me. The best way to live your life is to honor God and to stay pure until you get married. And I know it's difficult. I know it's hard. I know that you got social media and all these booty cheeks all over your For You page, and you got girls that barely wear any clothes at the gym, and you're fighting with all this. But the other side of the coin is just letting it loose and going and having sex with girls that you're not married to is not the better side of the coin. It's much, much worse. And I really want you to imagine this for a second, especially whenever it comes to dating in the future. Imagine that the girl that God would bring you is one of his own daughters. Like imagine that you're single and you're like, God, can you bring me a woman? And he finally answers that prayer and he's like, here, Johnny, here's one of my own daughters for you. Like, how would you treat her on that date? What would you do? Would you be, hanging out at her apartment until 4 a.m. and grabbing butt and making out on the couch all night? Or probably not what you would do, right? You would take her out to a nice restaurant. You'd pray before the meal. You'd have great manners. You'd pay the bill. You'd treat her right? You wouldn't be screwing around and, seeing how close you could get to grabbing her butt or how close you guys could get to towing the line between sin and purity. You'd be on your best behavior. And you would treat that girl with utmost respect. That's how you should date women in the future, man. Not playing a bunch of games, not seeing if you could lose your virginity before you two get married. It's not worth it, man. Take it from me. It's really not, it's not that good. If God blesses you with a woman, treat her right. That is your responsibility as the man. Lead her properly, lead her closer to Jesus and not further away. And if you're single right now and you're watching this video and you have absolutely no options, you can't get a match on Tinder to save your life, it's okay. It's for a reason, man. All you need to do is follow after Matthew 6:33. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness and allow these things to be added unto you. Develop yourself as a man and become the man that you need to be to actually be able to take care of one of God's daughters whenever he brings her around. As always, if you are interested in one-on-one coaching, bringing me on to guide you in your walk with Christ, or you just want to support this channel through donations, all of those links are down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that God blesses you, bro. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.